from WCIA 3 Plus with your hosts Glenn Kinley, Courtney Lane Brewer, and Tristan Thomas. This is the SEFCU Your Illini Nation WCIA 3-in-1 podcast.
Welcome into the Your Illini Nation WCIA 3-in-1 podcast. Tristan Thomas here, riding solo this week, getting ready for the bowl game out in Nashville, the Music City Bowl, Illinois and Tennessee. That one should be a lot of fun, but we got to talk about another Illinois versus SEC opponent matchup on the hardwood. And Illinois men's basketball winning 91-48 over Mizzou, a dominant performance in the most lopsided win in that series history. We've seen a lot of close games. Last year's one went down to the wire. Of course, Kasper Siakachonis winning it at the horn, or the go-ahead bucket to win it. And this one was over pretty quick. When you talk about all the good things Illinois did offensively, I think the top three things are the three-point shooting, going 15 of 33 from behind the arc, just dominance there. A 19 rebound advantage, 43-24, and holding the Tigers to just 29% shooting from the field. And Illinois really needing that bounce back win when you talk about, getting to where they were, and then the loss at home to Nebraska and what that did and how tough that was for this team. But enough of me talking about this. Glenn Kinley has a report out there in St. Louis. We'll get to that here in a minute, but first we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Tristan Thomas here again on the WCIA 3 Your Illini Nation 3-in-1 podcast. And Glenn Kinley out there at the Enterprise Center got a great look at Illinois and all they were able to do and taking care of business over a Mizzou team that they were favored to beat, but ultimately still had to go out and do it. That bragging rights game, all the cliches and stuff hold when you talk about a game that you throw out the records. And certainly Illinois taking care of business and, really just running away with that one out there in St. Louis. Here's Glenn Kinley from the court.
Well, Tristan, it's absolute domination for the Illini in this one. Coming off that home loss to Nebraska and a week plus to sit on it, the Illini had felt like needed a bounce-back performance, and they got it in this one, controlling the game pretty much from start to finish. The story, probably the Illinois defense, holding Missouri to less than 50 points and 29% shooting from the field. The Illini defense was, in my opinion, the best we've seen all year. It was Zvonimir Ivasic in the first half with the blocks, but they also forced some turnovers. Keaton Wagler had some steals. It was all over the place. That defense just almost unrecognizable from that Nebraska game. Coach was happy about that and a few other things. Listen in here to the post-game press conference with Brad Underwood, Andrei Stojakovic, and Keaton Wagler.
Tonight we made shots. We played good. And I've said it many times, and I don't want it to sound like an excuse. We needed practice. And, 9 days, we were not very good in our last game, and just 9 days of getting back to our daily vitamins, our essence of who we are on the defensive end. We held a really good team tonight to under 50 points. I thought that we were handsy. I thought we were in gaps. I thought our most important piece was our communication. Defensively, created a lot of energy. And then we did one of the big keys to beating them is not allowing them second chance points. And I think 29-5, we won in that category. So it was something I was very impressed with watching this group defensively. And I think it's a start of what can become a very, very, very good and dialed-in defensive team. And I hope they feel that tonight.
Peter, can you talk about why the defense was better tonight? What exactly did you guys do better to focus on over the last 8 days, and why did it translate tonight?
Yeah, in practice, we just got back to our day one principles, just being in gaps, talking, helping, rotating on defense, just knowing when you can help off on players and when you have to stay out. And I think that really helped the practice days. That really helped our defense, to hold a team under 50.
Run in the first half, you guys had like 16 straight points with second chance points. What did that do for you guys?
Yeah, it just opens up a lot more stuff for us. You know, when everyone crashes the glass, you know, teams get worn out from that, and they don't really want to box out every time. And we know if we all go, you know, we're going to get the ball. And that's easy points that we can get. You know, second chance points are really big in these types of games, and that's what really got our offense going.
Andre, what sort of a boost did Z give you guys on both ends of the court in the first half?
Yeah, he was amazing. I believe he got 10 rebounds in the first half, which was incredible. Came out with a lot of energy. You know, I think he's the best shot blocker in the Big Ten. I'm very glad to have him on the team, and he was very, very well prepared today.
Andre, can you put in context what Keaton's doing as a freshman? You were a talented freshman. What is he doing well?
Yeah, what makes him special is he's doing a little bit of everything, which we have a bunch of guys on the team that can do that, and for our freshmen to stay consistent like that, it's amazing for us. And he keeps improving week by week, and, you know, we're just thankful to have him on the team.
Keaton, what's prepared you for this, to handle this role and this good of a team right away?
I would definitely say just getting here over the summer and just working hard every day. You know, going up against Kylan in practices, he's really pushed me because he's one of the best defenders in the nation, and just playing against him every day has got me a lot better quickly, and just working out every day, just giving it my all, practices, games. I think just staying consistent is what got me going.
Andre, what can this team be defensively, and how do you build on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we've shown glimpses defensively of what we can be and had stretches, and tonight I feel like we made a huge step forward in our defensive game, and you know, we're just going to keep improving. I'm not going to put a ceiling on it, but I think if we continue to play with that type of intensity and focused on the game plan, our defense is going to get better, and hopefully we keep on seeing better defensive numbers as we go on.
How much of a release valve was this game coming off of 9 days between the Nebraska game, which I think you probably didn't play as well defensively in the 2 weeks?
Yeah, a lot of attention to detail over the week, a lot of preparation, intense practices, which is what we needed for that many days off in between games. And yeah, we knew we had to come out with a certain type of energy, and we came out with that, and we got the job done.
Keaton, what's allowed this team to take a loss with them and bounce back the next game and not let it kind of snowball?
Yeah, I just say, you know, it's the practices really, just coming in here, and we regrouped as a team. We knew what we had to do and how good of a team that we are, and just, you know, coming into practice with the right mindset, getting better each day, offensively and defensively.
With all the buzz surrounding your name lately, with how you've been playing, do you feel any added pressure?
You know, I try really not to pay attention to any of that. My focus right now is just on, you know, getting better and just winning games, making our team the best that we can be.
Keaton, in the first half, your scoring, was that, you feel like you came in aggressive, or was it just sort of the way things unfolded?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it's just the way things unfolded. You know, Kylan, he had 2 fouls, and then Andre, you know, he got hurt in the first half, and I just knew, you know, with that, you know, I just had to be more aggressive on the ball, just looking to score and make plays for others.
For either of you guys, I think Ben's getting married tomorrow, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
You guys are room for him to knock down a few of those that he had late?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was big. I mean, we know what Ben can do, and for himself to see a couple go in tonight was huge for him, I bet. And we were obviously glad to see him knock down a couple. Obviously, tomorrow is probably the most important day of his life so far. So we're just happy we got away with the win tonight, and good mood going into tomorrow, and you know, that's it.
2 more for the players.
Is he nervous about tomorrow? Is he pretty good about this marriage thing? Is he ready?
I don't know. We're not married. Coach, were you nervous?
We'll get Ben for you.
I was petrified.
Last one for the players.
Can you walk us through that first half injury, what you were dealing with, and kind of how you found your way back into the game?
Yeah, just stepped on somebody's foot on the way back on defense. Just in games, does a good job of taking care of me, I guess, and you know, I knew I was going to be fine. We say the ankle is as tough as the mind. What do we
Yeah,
say?
if you don't mind, the ankle won't either.
Yeah.
So it's just mind over matter.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Players walk off.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Okay, questions for Coach? Coach, a couple of matchups individually. Good defense overall, but with David on Mark Mitchell, Andre on Jacob Cruz, what'd you see from this?
Yeah, the one thing with Mark is you can't let him get in transition. I thought that was first and foremost, that we were attentive in transition. Secondly, it's not one guy's going to stop him. So, I thought we were very active in our gaps with him. I thought we did a really good job of not letting him get easy ones on the offensive glass. And, a talented guy. He had big night last year against us. I think he shot 12 free throws, and we talked a lot about it. And I thought David did a really good job of not fouling him, letting him get to the foul line. So, we're one of the top teams in the country at not fouling. And, I thought that was a big key going into the game, especially with Mark.
Fred, what is this moment, this role not been too big for Keith?
Yeah, I've gotten asked that a lot. Every person is unique and individual, and you can see him. He walks in here with no shoes on. He doesn't even know he should have shoes on. And I mean that in just the humblest way. He's fun to coach. I get on him in practice and ride him, and he's stoic. He's got an emotional balance that is very mature. And, now I think he's starting to put confidence. I think he's starting to see confidence come from his teammates towards him. He didn't practice Saturday. He was up all night throwing up. I mean, the young man was out with the flu, so was not in practice. So, he's just takes the moment all in stride and is poised beyond is well beyond his years, and it's pretty impressive to see.
What did you try to do to handle that 10-minute stretch where Andre's limping off and Bam already had 2 fouls?
Yeah, we threw Brandon in for a little bit in there. Brandon's been practicing really, really well, and then we've got tremendous versatility with Jake and Ben that they can slide through different spots, and I was ready to go double big if I needed to. It didn't have to happen like that, but we've got guys that have all played in some games now. We've had guys with some good weeks of practice, and I thought with Brandon's physicality, he fit really well into this game with Boateng and some of their stronger guys. So we were fortunate, and thank goodness it wasn't something that kept him out all night.
We only shot 29% on 2-point shots, including 4 of 13 on layups. Anything different schematically for your rim defense?
That's what we've been trying to do all year. It's what we've gotten away from. We need to be an elite 2-point defense. We need to protect the rim. We need to protect the paint and keep teams out of there. And then we have enough size and length to contest threes and understand teams are going to make some, but a little different than it's reminding me a little bit of the Tennessee game in terms of being able to really clog that paint up. I thought Z and Tommy both were effective, and you start putting those guys in there, and then Keaton gets a couple steals, and Bam gets his hands on a couple balls, and all of a sudden it can be tough sledding. So it's what we've really focused on here in the last 9 practices.
Is there any moment in those last 9 practices so that you felt like things were turning defensively?
It was day by day, just a gradual, and I think we've done it at times. It was just so out of character in the Nebraska game, and I hope our players got a little glimpse of what this can be like, and it kept us out of rotation. We did a good job on the glass for the most part. So those are all things that play into winning a basketball game against a good basketball team.
We talked yesterday about this team maybe offensively still had a lot of room to grow. I mean, beyond making shots tonight, offensive rebounds, second chance points, 20 assists on 30 made shots. Is that maybe what you were talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy when I say this. I don't really worry about that end too much. And the thing that I think helps us more than anything is offensive rebounding. And that's all I harp on. And that's, I think if you ask every player, the thing I talk about the most, it's offensive rebounding. And, we work on it every single day and getting guys to create habits. And that leads to your efficiency. That leads to fouls being drawn. That leads to unguarded threes. Kylan tips one out that Keaton gets a wide open three at the top of the key. Those are the baskets that you don't have to grind and earn, and all you have to do is go to the glass. So our efficiency, our abilities on that end are really predicated on being able to do that at a high level.
Defending without fouling, how do you coach that? Is it a way to facilitate that, practice it?
A lot of, yeah, it's every single day in practice. I mean, it fouls a defensive mistake in my mind. And I've been wrestling with it because sometimes I feel like we get too passive. We talk about not playing with our hands at all. We want a chest and leg, and sometimes I feel like that the fouls are 6-1 the other way, and everybody looks up and like, we've played pretty good D, and we've only committed one foul, and so you're gonna call something the other way. But we've got to get better at creating more turnovers and coming up with more opportunities. But we do practice it, we emphasize it, and understand that a mistake is made when you do foul.
How do you get a number of guys from Europe to care about a non-conference neutral site game in the middle of the season? Is it just the big trophy, or is it no different than any other game that you've coached?
No, it's different. It's different, and I think our fans do a pretty good job of letting our guys understand what this thing's about. We talk about it. I think this game is different. I think it's really unique. I'm so impressed with this game that it's 45 years of non-traditional, non-league rivalry, and yet it is we've lost a little bit because the players don't stay 2, 3, 4 years like they used to, and that there was always a great carryover from that. The portals changed that, but we emphasize it. Our fans let our players know. They talk about it. Our fans show up in droves whenever we play on the road, but I think it speaks to how competitive our group is. We try to recruit that, and so I tip my cap to him. I mean, Kylan Boswell has been talking all week about this game.
Right. See the first half, getting the spark, Tommy in the second half. What are you figuring out what you have when you have 40 minutes lead?
Yeah, two good players. And I mean, you got shot blocking, you got rebounding, you got guys who can space the floor. I thought Tommy made really 2 bad passes that he normally doesn't make, one in each half. You put that with Dave and Merck, and he's gives you that little physical bruiser type. But again, they're all guys who can play in space and protect the rim, and we haven't done a very good job of helping them defensively be as dialed in as protecting the rim, and it's been hit and miss with both of them, and we got to do better. I got to do a better job of making sure we're positioning those guys to do that.
Got time for 2 more.
With 15 offensive rebounds, what was the difference? We talked about maybe looking at laying on backs and not going. Just what got them going?
I mean, we spent 9 days on it. I mean, it's just where every coach was dialed in. It was a point of emphasis in every aspect of our practice was going to the glass, and and not laying on backs, not accepting a block out. Dave got one early in the game, a foul called because he laid on a back and pushed, and that's what we're trying to get away from. You've got to make the second and third effort to do that, and they're a team that plays a lot in rotation, so there's opportunities to go, and we've got to continually work on this and get better at it if we want to be the team offensively that we think we can be.
Brad, you have battled a ton of injuries, illness. How close are you to being where you thought you would be?
Further, I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's. Again, I sound like an excuse maker, and I don't want to be that. We needed practice. We needed Andrei Stojakovic in practice, Tommy in practice. We needed to grind them. I'm not. When I talk about us being in bad shape, it's not the physical as much as the mental, and the mental component that goes with sometimes being tired, sometimes not playing with enough energy because we're tired mentally. All those things are getting better, and we're doing stuff now that I wish, as a coach, as a head coach, I wish I had done and been able to do the third week of practice, and that's grind on them, and this break has helped, and we're getting closer as we head into Big Ten play. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
So the Illini nearly double the Tigers on the scoreboard, thanks in large part to that defense, but also thanks in large part to nearly doubling the Tigers in the rebounding column. Illinois was really, really good on the glass, so it is a Merry Christmas for Brett Underwood and his team. The Illini back in action at home on Monday, December 29th against Southern. For your Illini Nation in St. Louis, Glenn Kinley, WCIA 3 Sports. Tristan, back to you.
All right, Glenn, thanks. Appreciate the report there, and good stuff from Brad Underwood and the players. Of course, mentioning Ben Humberhouse getting married to Adalia McKenzie. Very happy for them. Congratulations to the happy couple. We've got more coverage of that available on our website, WCIA.com, as we heard from Ben after the game as well. All right, we're going to take another quick break, hit some other news and notes on a busy time of the season right before the turn of the calendar, approaching the Christmas holiday and the new year. And we'll be back to wrap up the show after this. All right, welcome back here. And Illinois, of course, getting that big win over the Missouri Tigers on the men's side, and the women's side looking forward to a big road game ahead, getting a Big Ten play rolling out there in West Lafayette. A game I think you expect the Illini to win, a team knocking on the door of the AP Top 25. And man, that women's basketball team has been so much fun to watch, so much fun to cover when you talk about what Shauna Green has done for this team. The Illini traveling to face Purdue, 8-4. The Boilermakers are this season with a loss to Purdue-Fort Wayne at Purdue-Fort Wayne. So a team that, like Illinois, with just one loss in the season, that road loss at Oregon State, something they talked about as a key turning point for this team, especially defensively. When you talk about the effort that they bring on that side of the ball, and just really locking in and holding each other accountable. Man, we've seen that for sure, especially in the Indiana game at home. That first start to Big Ten play, not a bad Indiana team, certainly a good program that's had a lot of teams' number over recent years, but Illinois took control from the jump, a lot like that Missouri game on the men's side of just taking care of business. And, led by Barry Wallace getting over 17 points a game, and she's been impressive, really filling that role that, I mentioned Adalia McKenzie, but, Genesis Bryant, Kendall Bostic, all those players in those, in previous teams that led the way and led the scoring, and all of a sudden it's like, here you go, Barry Wallace. Here's the keys to the Corvette, and she's done a great job, even with all the pressure that comes with being the lead scorer and the main player on this team. And rounding out the month will be that game at Purdue, and then all of a sudden turning the calendar to January 1st, New Year's Day, Illinois taking on Maryland at home. And a Maryland team that's going to be excited to play this Illini team. They're ranked 7th in the country at the time we're recording this, and undefeated on the season. That's one of the better Big Ten teams in the country, but a team Illinois beat last year at their place. Kind of a marquee win for that team and a big resume builder for sure. But plenty to look forward to for sports in Central Illinois, especially when you talk about Illinois men's basketball. As Glenn mentioned, we'll be back at home against Southern, and then that rounds out the regular season. They've had a couple big blocks here after bragging rights, so plenty of about a week of practice time, and a little bit more than a week when you talked about the transition from Nebraska to Missouri. Again, a good chance for that team to kind of lock in on defense a little bit and fix some of those things from the Nebraska game. And then, of course, we'll get you ready for the Music City Bowl out there in Tennessee. Obviously, almost a road environment when you talk about plenty of Vols fans are going to be there, quick trips inside the state for them, and a 2.5-point favorite. At this point, we'll have plenty of coverage available on our website, and plenty more coverage leading up to and through the game at the Music City Bowl will be a lot of fun. And talk about the Chicago Bears too, right? I mean, a team that's just delivered one of the best moments I think a lot of Bears fans have seen with that win with DJ Moore catching that long touchdown in overtime, and Caleb Williams doing big time things. A lot of fun to be covering some of the teams around here in Central Illinois, and looking forward to the postseason and all that's ahead in the new year. So with that, thank you for watching. Have a good one.